Okay, let's be real for a second. If you felt even a little bit of that low key anxiety about AI in your job, you're definitely not alone. I mean, the headlines are just everywhere, right? And that fear, it feels pretty real. But is that the whole picture? Let's dig in and see what the data is actually telling us about the workforce of 2026. So, this is it, isn't it? The big question. Is AI coming for my job? It's what everyone's asking. And look, we're here to tackle it head on. Because the answer, well, it's not a simple yes or no. It's way more interesting than that. And it all starts with a number that, frankly, is pretty scary 52,000. And that's just for starters. That's how many workers major US companies are planning to lay off. And when you ask them why, well, the reason they're giving is pretty consistent. It's all about this pressure to slash labor costs and go all in on AI. And yeah, this is the trend that's fueling that whole AI job apocalypse story we keep hearing about. All right, so let's just rip the band aid off and look at this apocalypse narrative directly. Who's making these cuts and what's the thinking behind it? And we're not talking about small, unheard of companies here. No, this is the big leagues. We're talking about Amazon, UPS, Home Depot, even Nike and Cisco. These are household names, and they are all part of this wave. We're looking at tens of thousands of roles affected. And the sheer scale of it? Yeah, that's what's making everybody snap to attention. So, what's the official line? Well, the goal they're stating is pretty straightforward. They want to create slimmer, more efficient organizations. And the magic tool they're going to use to do it, you already know, it's AI. They see it as the perfect way to automate tasks, trim down the headcount, and slash those labor costs. But, and this is a big but, this is exactly where the story takes a really sharp, unexpected turn. Because it turns out while one part of the job market is contracting, another part is just exploding. The data isn't showing one big universal collapse. Instead, it's revealing this deep fundamental split. It's almost like a tale of two totally different economies running side by side. And this phenomenon has a name. The research calls it the bimodal reality. It's a fancy way of saying it's not one single job market anymore. Think of it like two parallel tracks, two different modes, and they're speeding off in completely opposite directions. So let's take a look at what that actually means. And wow, this really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got Mode A, the legacy economy. You know, the traditional task based jobs we all know. And yeah, that's where we're seeing that 20% contraction, hitting middle management especially hard. But then, look at the other side Mode B, the AI augmented economy. These are the new roles, the ones focused on orchestrating AI. And get this, they're seeing 3 times the revenue growth and are paying out huge wage premiums. The takeaway here is so clear. One world is shrinking, but the other is absolutely booming. Okay, so get ready for the twist, because this is where things get really counterintuitive. At the exact same time these companies are cutting those experienced middle management jobs, they are making this huge bet on the total opposite end of the spectrum. We're talking about entry level talent. I mean, just listen to this quote from IBM's head of HR. It says everything. They aren't just hiring a few people, they are tripling their entry level hiring. Tripling. So, why on earth would they do that? Simple. They figured out that you can't exactly promote a ChatGPT bot to be your next VP. They are hiring for the future now to avoid a catastrophic leadership vacuum down the road, around 2030. And it's not just IBM. Look at this pattern. Dropbox, they're boosting their internship program by 25%, specifically to grab what they're calling AI natives. Cognizant is hiring more than 25,000 recent grads or freshers and training them on AI tools from day one. The strategy is crystal clear, right? Bring in the next generation and teach them how to orchestrate the AI, not just how to do the old repetitive tasks. Okay, so this is all fascinating, but let's get to the most important part. What does this mean for you, for your career? How do you actually navigate this new AI augmented economy and not just survive, but thrive? Let's get into the playbook. You really don't need a crystal ball to see where this is going. The data from Indeed is screaming it at us. I mean, look at this split. Postings for non AI jobs, they're either flat or going down. But job postings that even just mention AI, they're shooting up like a rocket. The market is literally telling us what it's looking for. And it's not just asking for it, it's putting its money where its mouth is. 56%. Let that sink in. That is the average wage premium, the extra cash for roles with verified AI skills. We're talking about the same job title just with an AI skill set. We haven't seen a skill premium like this since the dot-com boom in the 90s. The financial reason to adapt here is, well, it's huge. Now, here's a really key insight, so listen close. This doesn't mean you have to throw your entire career out the window and start over. Not at all. It's something called the overlay effect. Your core skills, let's say you're a video editor, are still super valuable. But the explosive growth, that's adding an AI layer right on top of what you already do. So you don't just stay a video editor, you become an AI video strategist. And when I say explosive growth, I mean it. How about 109%? That's the year over year growth for these AI overlay jobs. So, see, it's not about starting from zero, it's about augmenting the expertise you've already built with this powerful new strategic layer. Okay, here's another huge one. It's this idea of the accountability moat. Just think about it for a second. If an AI messes up, who do you sue? You can't take an algorithm to court, right? So companies desperately need a human, a real person, to take on the legal and ethical ownership, to be the one who gives that final sign off. And that ability to own the risk, that is a uniquely human skill that's becoming incredibly valuable. Mark Andreessen put it perfectly. He said, AI will not destroy jobs, it will destroy tasks. And that is such a critical difference. It's not about eliminating your role, it's about eliminating the boring, repetitive parts of your role. And what does that do? It frees you, the human, up to focus on the things only we can do: the deep strategy, the real creativity, the empathy. So, what can you actually do? Here's your path forward. 3 simple steps. First, you got to shift your focus. Stop thinking about just using AI, like asking ChatGPT to write an email. Start thinking about orchestrating it. How can you build an autonomous workflow where AI agents handle a whole process and you're the one in charge, providing the oversight? Second, lean in right where you are. Believe it or not, 55% of AI hiring happens internally. So go propose an AI pilot project in your current job. And third, and this is huge, show, don't tell. Forget just updating your resume. Build a portfolio. Show off some real work, some live projects. That's how you prove you've got the skills. All right, let's wrap this up. If you're going to remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. There has been a fundamental shift in what the job market values. It is no longer about just executing tasks. It is all about orchestration. This really breaks down the new division of labor, doesn't it? Let the AI do the grunt work. Let it write the code, analyze the data, resolve the tickets, all that pure execution. The human value, where the premium skills and the premium pay are, is now in orchestration and accountability. It's in the big picture design and strategy. It's in having empathy for the customer. It's in managing risk and ethics. And it's in being the one who gives that final critical sign off. And that leaves us with one final, really important question. I mean, the market couldn't be clear about where it's headed. The old way of doing things is shrinking, and these new roles are being created at an incredible pace. So you have to ask yourself, are you training for the job you might have just lost? Or are you training for the job that a company like IBM is creating right now? The direction is clear. The choice really is up to you.